In the early hours of August 9, 2013, a chilling 911 call came from a desolate stretch of Highway 277 in Texas. Brandon Lawson, breathless and panicked, claimed he was being chased. Moments later, he vanished into the darkness, leaving behind a mystery that has haunted his family and investigators for over a decade. 26-year-old Brandon Mason Lawson was an oil field worker from San Angelo, Texas. He had a long-term relationship with his girlfriend, Lawson, with whom he shared 4 children. Despite his commitment to his family, Brandon struggled with substance abuse issues. In the months leading up to his disappearance, he had reportedly been sober for about 6 months. Despite these struggles, his family and friends described him as a caring and dedicated person who was close to his loved ones. On August 8, 2013, at around 11 p.m., Brandon and Ladessa had an argument, as Lawson believed Brandon was under the influence of drugs since he had not returned home the night before. Brandon and Ladessa had a policy for how to handle disagreements between them. When things became too heated, they would go to separate rooms, or one would leave the home, to give each other a chance to cool off before approaching the topic again. At approximately 11:30 p.m., Brandon called his father in Crowley, Texas, about a 3-hour drive from San Angelo, and informed him that he was heading to his house. At 11:54 p.m., he left his home, driving a silver Ford F-150. At around 12:30 a.m. on August 9th, Brandon called his brother Kyle Lawson, stating that he had run out of gas and was pulled over on U.S. Route 277 between San Angelo and Bronte. During the call, Brandon claimed that he was being chased by 3 men, whom he later described as Mexicans in the neighborhood. Kyle, dubious about the veracity of his story, asked him if he was on drugs and perhaps hallucinating, but Brandon denied this. Kyle, accompanied by his wife and their child, went to Lawson's house to retrieve a fuel container. Kyle said they continued to make calls to each other, but Brandon wouldn't hold a conversation with him, usually ending the call after a few sentences. At 12:50 a.m., Brandon called 911, reporting that he had run out of gas and needed police assistance.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. It's like we're just pushing guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. You gotta take the bitch to the woods. Quick flirting.
Okay, now run that by
The
me.
one I talked is home. I surely ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
That's the first guy.
You need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello?
Shortly after, at 12:56 a.m., a trucker also called 911 to report Lawson's truck, which was parked hazardously on the road. Between 12:50 a.m. and 1:15 a.m., Lawson made and received several calls to and from Kyle, his girlfriend, his neighbor, and the 911 dispatcher. However, poor cell reception caused many calls to go straight to voicemail, and after 1:19 a.m., all calls to his phone went directly to voicemail. Around 1 a.m., a sheriff's deputy arrived at Brandon's truck. Kyle arrived at the scene around 1:10 a.m. and was on the phone with Brandon, who told him, quote, "I can see you, I'm right here," unquote. But neither the deputy nor Kyle could locate him. Kyle speculated that Brandon, who had an active arrest warrant, might have been hiding from the deputy. At 1:18 a.m., Kyle again managed to speak with Brandon, who sounded out of breath and claimed he was bleeding. After talking with the officer, Kyle drove a short distance and waited for 30 to 45 minutes but eventually left, leaving the gas can in the truck bed. He returned at 5 a.m. after Brandon had not shown up, but again found no signs of him. The family continued to search for him until the morning, but found nothing. There were no further calls from Brandon, and he seemed to have vanished into thin air. In the days following Brandon's disappearance, a local deputy organized a search party to investigate the area surrounding his truck, but found no trace of him. The family continued to search for Brandon. They looked everywhere they could in the area, but were hampered in their efforts by local landowners who refused to allow them to search on their land. Not a shred of evidence was discovered to explain what had happened to Brandon. Kyle later revealed that Brandon had relapsed and started using methamphetamine again shortly before he went missing. This fueled theories that he might have been hallucinating the night he disappeared and succumbed to the elements or injuries incurred while traversing rough terrain in the middle of the night. On February 4, 2022, Brandon's family posted an update on Facebook, stating that a search party had discovered clothing believed to belong to him near his last known location. Following this, the Texas Rangers conducted a search and located human remains in the area. On June 5, 2023, the family provided another update explaining that DNA analysis of the remains found is still ongoing. The process has been delayed due to the small amount of remains available and significant DNA degradation from years of exposure. Despite testing at 2 labs, results are pending. As of 2024, the whereabouts of Brandon Lawson or what occurred the night he went missing remain unknown. Despite the lack of progress, Brandon's family remains hopeful his case will one day be solved.